What's up, everybody? It's Punish Dave, number 27. What's going on? It's Friday night. It's 8. We're a little late. We were just working on. I just got from Sweetwater. I just got
Cloud lifter.
the Cloud Lifter. Do you guys ever hear about that? Pete Thorne did a video on it. I can't show you what it is, but it's a little box, a little blue box about this big. It's called a Cloud Lifter. Anyway, so I'm curious if my mic is too
It's
hot.
mainly designed for like mics that have a very low output and dynamic mics. There, it's designed for. So SM7s, it's particularly good on that we use here. I've used one forever. Mark just got his.
I didn't know you had yours, to be honest with you.
Wait.
Oh yeah,
can't quite reach. The cable's not long enough.
I didn't know. I had no idea.
Yeah. I've been using it forever.
When I saw Pete's video, I thought to myself, yeah, that seems like a good upgrade. Why not? I hope everybody's doing good. We just dove right into the product talk.
Your Cloud Lifter, especially if you're using SM7.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's cool for that. Actually, you can use it on other dynamic mics too. You can use it on a SM58, SM57. You can, or whatever dynamic mic you have. Really, now, it just basically adds an active preamp essentially between the. It's ideally suited, though. To be honest, I think this thing was mainly made for this SM7 because an SM7 doesn't have a transformer in it, and it's a very low output mic, and you need lots of mic pregain, especially if you're not amplifying exceptionally loud sources.
Well, I was gonna say, if you
guitar amp, you got a loud source, but
you don't need to use something like that.
Yeah, a screaming vocalist, you probably have a pretty loud source too. But that's what's good about the SM7 was it was always the greatest like rock vocal mic ever. It's been used on Metallica and all sorts of things for years because it can take a pounding and can take a screaming vocalist into it without ever sounding crunchy or distorting like a condenser mic can.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Had no clue. I just had my preamp gain or my my mic pre gain all the way up before. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I see some folks in. Randall Aiken, we saw in the chat. I saw
Randall. How are you?
Michael.
Hey, Randall, we'd love to invite you on the show. If you want to send me an email sometime, I'd love to have you on. That would be interesting.
Yeah,
It'd be kind of a very technical, geeky show, but hey, it would be fun.
Let's do it. That'd be great. Thanks for joining, Randall. We had Michael Nielsen. We got Vinny.
Vinny, Michael, hey.
Usual suspects. R2, R3.
Please work on getting Joe Holmes. Yes, don't worry. I'm working on it. Oh, and Michael Schenker. Okay, that would be fun too.
That would.
I knew someone.
I'm trying to also, I have someone who wrote me recently who says they may have a line on KK Downing, but which would be cool.
That would be fun.
Yep, that would be cool. Our last two guests were great shows. Andy Sneap and Jim Root. And the Jim Root show blew up.
Yeah, everyone and their brother used our content.
Everybody's there's tons of clips on YouTube of our content, of which I need to change that setting where they can't do that anymore. There's a setting I found out.
Oh, where they can't steal it?
Yeah, they can't take a clip. That's why I didn't go and do any kind of copyright thing on it, because you can go on on YouTube and there's a setting where you can say can't use clips or something like that. So and my son was explaining this to me. He's like, because I said, I'm going to go after these people for copyright. He's like, that's not the etiquette of YouTube. He goes, if you're allowing people to make clips of your stuff, he's like, then I'm like, okay, all right, I get it. So,
well, you could look at it a couple of ways. You could look at it like free promotion too.
Right. That's like, exactly. So that's fine. I've only seen it happen really just for a couple of guests and mostly with Jim. I had no idea how popular Slipknot was, honest to God.
Well, the other fact is that he never really done any podcasts like that before.
Yeah.
Ever.
So everything that he's done that I've seen online has been, excuse me.
You got a frog in your throat.
I know. Everything I've seen him do online has been a, either a rig rundown or kind of an interview that's already pre-edited,
Yeah. Nope.
Our first question is from Michael Nielsen, who sent me an email just a little while ago. He said, or a text, he said, I really like the hardwired delay DL8. Can you talk about the mods that you did to Lukather's delays? He's got 2 on his board. Are they running into each other in series or are they parallel? Thanks.
This is a misconception. I did not do mods to Lukather's delays. I'm pretty sure the delays that he had, so he used to use those delays with a mixer. And I'm pretty sure, so there's the dry path was muted. Today he uses stock ones that are just in series with each other because they totally, I had done a pedal board for him, which had the delays in parallel, so to speak. Where there wasn't any dry path in the pedals. So I'm pretty sure Bradshaw had done those. So Bob Bradshaw, I'm pretty sure, had done that. There was a mod posted somewhere, and for the life of me, I can't remember where, telling you how to actually do that if you want to those delays. It's just really taking one part out of the delay so it doesn't pass dry signal through. But the switch would still turn it on and off, so to speak.
Okay. Just to let you know, sometimes your mic goes soft. If you kind of just get just a little bit away from your mic.
Okay.
Just wanted you to know. Couldn't hear you for a second. So
I've never noticed that. Then I must not have it compressed enough.
It just happened,
you know what it is? It probably has to do with I have an expander on it, so it kind of also mutes the mic sort of in between things. So if I will eat it more.
All right. Let's see. Yeah. So Jim Root, man, big show. Really glad he came on. Really a super nice guy. Also, big week for you, man. The Plex.
Yes, Punished by Plex.
Punished, yeah. So you had the release, right? And which seemed to be, you had some great videos that came out from a lot of great people. Michael's, Nielsen's, who else? Pete. There was who else did? Oh, I saw
Leon Todd.
Doug Rappaport did it.
Doug Rappaport's going to have some other videos, I think, with it too. And Michael and I are going to do another video also where we're going to do a comparison to the original amp.
Oh, great idea.
But we're not going to tell you what's what.
Okay.
So you have to try to guess.
That's cool. That'll be a great video.
It's going to be 50-50 when people guessing. I already know.
Well, that's a good idea.
It's going to be it's this one. This one's the original. Yes, that's that one. And no.
Right.
We're not going to tell you either.
And I gather he's going to do it through like the different types of gain and tone, right? Like whether it be clean.
We're going to probably do it. To be honest, we're going to probably just do it like I dialed in my amp always and just go for that.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Because you can do other things with the amp, obviously, than just what I used to do with my amp.
Right.
You have a little more flexibility with the bright switches and things like that. So yeah, it should be good.
Cool. So what kind of I guess most of the feedback that I've seen has been extremely positive. Most people are loving it, except for one insane thread on the Facebook page.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can address that. Yeah, I never said it was going to be a clone of the construction of the amp. I always said it was modern construction techniques. I chose to do that because I'll just put this out there. It's very simple. Hand-wired amps have tons of human error all the time. It's just common. You get a bunch of people wiring amps, they make mistakes.
I mean, look how inconsistent Marshalls were from 1 to 1, right?
Yeah. There is inconsistencies in wire routing and different things in the amps that can cause inconsistencies in the sound. You can, with a PC board amp, you can get the parts much closer to where they're going. You have a much shorter signal path in general. You can just do things that you can't do with a hand-wired amp, and it's better if it's constructed right. It's better. It's constructed right though. So you can't compare this to a Fender Hot Rod DeVille and how it's constructed or something. You can't do that. Yeah, it's totally different. It's a 2-ounce copper plated through holes, big traces, ground plane.
It's a thick board.
It's a thick board. Everything is mounted tight in the amp. There's no flex of any kind. No tube sockets are flexing. No, nothing. Power tube sockets, even though they're on the board, they're bolted right to the chassis through a aluminum standoff that it's impossible for them to even flex in any way, shape, or form. And let's address, then people go, okay, I'm okay with the PC board, but what about the pots? Okay, you've used PC mounted pots. Yes, I did. The reason I did that is because every pot I was using was starting to fail. I had lots of issues with failures on full-size pots. They grow tin whiskers, and they're just every week I'd get people, with issues with it. And there's ways to clean them, but it's still a pain in the ass. I wasn't going to deal with that anymore. I can't deal with that anymore. So we have to switch pots in some fashion. And to be honest, this PC mounted pot I used was a sealed pot. It feels great. It's a very proven reliable pot. There's another manufacturer, I'm just not going to mention who, that has been using these same pots for years and years and years, and without any issues whatsoever. And that's in pedals that are stomped on a daily basis, literally, that are stomped on with feet. You can put the EQ caps right on top of the actual pots that they go in. It's just better in general. And
what's the difference between that? I'm sorry, go ahead. But I was going to ask.
Sonically, there's no difference. I mean, compared to my old amp, it's the same exact sound. So
I'm talking about from the pots, from traditional pots that you would be using versus these PC mounted.
What's the difference? There's no real difference other than it's just 3 solder lugs or 3 wires versus it mounted on a PC board. There's no stress on these pots either because the pots are mounted. There's a bracket on the pots that is soldered into the PC board, and that bracket holds it so the connections of the pots have no stress on them.
I see.
So they're bolted to the chassis. So there's just no stress on them in any way, shape, or form. It's just a better way to construct things. I mean, you look at Fryette. Fryette's been doing PC board amps for years. His Deliverance is an all PC board amp. Completely top to bottom. This is not a new thing. It can be done right. And if it's done right, it's superior because more consistent. And they've been extremely consistent. I test every one of these fuckers. I play through it. Every last one of them, I actually played some chords through. You know what I mean? Like I listened to the consistency of them. because I'm really kind of particular about this amp. It has to sound right. And, if for some reason it doesn't, it might be tube related. And I'll pull it aside and then readdress it. And, but it's the most consistent amp I've ever seen in my line because it's over and over and over again. It sounds the same. Really, that's all there is to be said about it. And also, if you say, oh, what about changing a part or this or that? The PC board is easy to change a part on from the top as any turret board is. There's no problem with changing any of the parts or anything that are on the board.
What if just playing devil's advocate for people out there? Oh, Dave's just doing this so he can save money on building the amp.
Okay, well, you want to know here, you want to know what the savings is? I'll tell you that the savings is really simple. The only thing you're saving, because all the parts are exactly the same as any of the amps, the only thing you're actually saving is the amount of time it takes someone to build it. So that equates to about $100.
That's a lot. It's not, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, not anymore. You're not like,
yeah, it's $100.
It's $100, and if it was hand wired, it would also be a couple $100 more.
Oh yeah, it would be. If it were hand wired,
$100 more.
Right.
So it's it's just more efficient. It's just more efficient. I can build more. I can get more. I can have a better consistency from amp to amp. It's just all around better. I'm not making a hand wired amp ever again. So,
wow,
no new designs will be hand wired.
So you think people who own the previous hand wired amps from Dave will be more coveted?
I don't know.
Hey,
I mean, our old amps there was still a PC board with wires coming off of them to pop. I mean, more coveted. I don't know. Are the old amps that had a turret board more coveted? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
You can dream up in your head whatever you want to dream up, and if you think that's more coveted, but in a blind test, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Oh, Vinny loves PCB.
Yeah, it's better. I mean, it's a really cleanly done one is like a work of art. It's actually fun.
I mean, have you had any PCB failures
on what?
Any of your amps? Like an actual, like from flexing or breaking or anything?
No, none. And in fact, we've had, so the Runt series amps are almost full PCB, right? Not the pots, but everything else is a PCB. And those amps, although they use some different components than the high-end amps, they're not using Synergy caps and the super expensive stuff. But I've never, ever, I think in thousands and thousands of amps, I think I've replaced a tube socket once or twice in thousands and thousands of amps. And the only reason that happened was we used to use the TAD Chinese EL34s, and they had a bad habit of shorting in a bad way from the heater to from the heaters to the output transformer. They would just arc the socket. So then you got to change the socket, but even on a hand wired amp, it would still arc the socket, and you'd still have to change the socket.
Okay. Well, I agree with Serious Amplification. This is going to have over 300 pages on the Slow Clone forums. The gear forum, I think, as well.
I mean, Alex, sure you agree with me. A PC board is a better way to do things because you can get parts closer, and the signal path is better, and the repeatability is better, and if you make a great PC board, there's nothing wrong with it.
When was there any a time where your mind shifted from that on that belief, because you were doing hand wired amps for a long time?
Well, yeah, but you started off doing hand wire amps because you were a small builder that really didn't have the option to do anything else, and you can easily make a hand wire amp or a new model in minutes. You don't have to have a whole board layout and different things like that. But over time, it's really just soured me against it because of the amount of grief it can cause you.
What about this? PC boards with heat type items on it will cause issues.
Not really. So a guy that works with us, Leonardo, brought this up. For instance, like on an EV, electric vehicle. All the man. I wish I had his quote exactly. You know what? I don't have his quote exactly, so I'm not going to go there. But there is way, 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 way more heat on the PCB, on an electric vehicle than there is on an EL34 on an amp. Also, heat rises. I don't do any amp designs that are mounted like, shall we say, like a Fender, where heat rises right up into the amp. It goes the opposite way. And also, these tube sockets are bolted right to the chassis also. So the chassis is dissipating a lot of heat in itself. It's not an issue. I mean, if it was an issue, if heat was an issue on a hand wired amp, it would melt the screen grid resistors right off the tube sockets, or it would melt the wires right out of the solder lugs. You know what I mean? So you're not going to warp a board in my amp because it's a thick board with plated through holes, and it's bolted to the chassis in such a way, and the sockets are bolted to a chassis. There's no flex of any kind. So the only thing, like heat rising in some crappy board laid out amps like Hot Rod DeVille's and things like that, yeah, sure. It can cause warping of the board. It can cause cracking. It can cause all that. It won't do it in this. Just impossibility.
Okay. Well, I think we've touched on all the points that were raised in that thread pretty much. Look, the bottom line is, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but if you don't want to buy the amp because of those features, then go get a Sir SL67 or 68, right?
If you'd like.
Right? I mean,
more money.
Right. It's more money, but it's hand wired if that's what you want. I don't know if it's the same, side.
Not exactly the same circuit. It's not exactly the same amp. So, do you like the sound of it?
Yeah. I mean, not everybody's going to, be into it. So it is what it is. But I think that addressed most of the stuff. We've got a bunch of questions. Before I dive into the super chat questions, couple things. First off, let's do our sponsors. So we have Sweetwater. I want to thank Sweetwater for our past two guests. We had sponsored ads for them, so that was great. Sweetwater is always great. So check them out. We have a link below for our affiliate link. We get a little kickback if you buy something there. We really appreciate it. Also, there's fixedpedalboards.com. And Dave, if you want to say something about fixedpedalboards.com.
For all your pedal board needs, such as lifts and junction boxes and hinged bridges and all sorts of little metal pedal lifts for every size pedal known to mankind.
It's got a rack drawer.
Yeah, there's a rack drawer there that I designed. It's cool stuff.
Yep.
Very useful.
Fixedpedalboards.com. Tell Tim we say hi. And then also Thomann.com. Please check out Thomann for all our folks around the world who want to purchase gear. We have the link also below. All right. And the other thing is, I wanted to mention a friend of mine who also is providing the switches for Fryette's new Cyclops Tessie switch.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought a pedal from Rob. Pretty cool. It's a King of Clone. So it's a clone of the King of Tone pedal, I guess.
Oh, cool.
By 68 pedals. But this thing glows in the dark. Super cool.
It's got the alien head on it.
Yeah, it's super cool. So I really like it. Thanks, Rob. Rob's a good guy. So you guys check out Tessie Switch if you ever want to get some switches, like kill switches and stuff for your guitars. Rob's got it all. So all right,
there's something in here, Braxel.
Yeah.
Braxel. He's like talking about essentially the word vintage on the Plex. We differentiated it from other Friedmans, so it's going to be the vintage series. What vintage series means is, generally speaking, simplistic, older style circuits that have been reimagined. So we need to have the vintage name on it. It needs to say vintage to differentiate the series from the other amps. Otherwise, it looks the same as the other amps. So that's my meaning of it.
Okay. I missed the comment. What was the comment?
Oh, he has several comments about the word vintage on the amp.
Oh, it's misleading?
No, I mean, I don't know if he, well, I don't, he just doesn't like the word vintage on it.
Oh, okay.
He bought one. I'm just sorry, I'm catching up on the threads here.
All right. Well, you know what? I think at the end of the day,
that's why I did it. I had to do something. It had to be called something. The series has to be called something.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
This is going to consist of amps that have no effects loops. This is going to consist of, almost anything can go in it, even limited run items and stuff, What's vintage these days? Is that like 1999?
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 25 years old, right?
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. I guess vintage is 25 years old. I guess if that's the definition.
That's what I thought.
I'd actually never heard that. So, but okay.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna look.
Is Line 6 products vintage now?
I got to look.
Certain Line 6 is a Line 6 pod vintage.
Right. That's what I was thinking. A Line 6 pod.
I don't know.
Well, it says vintage, the year or place in which wine, especially, and then relating toward. This is about wine. What is the truth? Is 20 years old considered vintage? Oh, here it says an item should be at least 100 years old before to be defined as an antique. 20 years, it falls under the term vintage. That's what I thought.
Okay, well, there you go. So Line 6 spiders are vintage.
There you go. That's funny. All right. Well, I think we covered it. And congrats on the amp, Braxel. I hear it sounds fantastic. I've got one on the way too. I hope everybody enjoys it who got it. Well, I know we have a bunch of questions from folks on them. Also, I have a cool amp that's coming tomorrow. So Jason from Headfirst is right now. I think he's traveling back tomorrow, maybe back to Australia.
Oh, today. I think he's coming back tonight.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's coming back to LA?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think he's might be leaving on Sunday night or something.
So yeah, he was with Shay from Monomyth Amps, and they were together, and I know that they were doing a bunch of stuff for their own business, but they actually modded an amp for me, both of them. So
Sweet. So it's a mashup.
Yeah, it's a mashup, which is super cool. It's got both logos on it, and they did their like kind of their separate things. Like Jason did more of like the Jose kind of updating the um updating the plexi types sound of it, kind of getting it better. That's in the amp already, and then kind of adding the Jose, and then Shay did all the diode stuff where it gets like super heavy and everything like that. So
Cool.
yeah, it'll be cool. So that arrives tomorrow, which will be fun. I'll post some pictures of that. All right. Aravalo 93, what's going on? Thanks for the super chat. Hey Dave, I'm enjoying the small box. You added the C45 switch and thumb knob. Regarding your 2 notes pack, how do you like to mic the naked cab?
I mean, it's just 57, and you can either blend a 421 or you can blend a 121 Royer in with it. Generally speaking, that's what I would choose to do, one of the two. I kind of a little more prone to like the 421 mixed with the 57 because, you know, that's your classic one. That's your, Brendan O'Brien, Bob Rock kind of scenario. I just like how that sounds.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the 120, the 421 would be minimally in, but with the 57 being the prominent.
I like the C45 switch.
Yeah,
I threw it on with the BE channel. It sounds
great.
Yes, sounds killer. Now, when you modeled like the BE channel after your 68, is that without the C45 switch or kind of?
I mean, to be honest, you can kind of get it close with either. Just when you A/B it right to it, you just have to dial in the EQ accordingly.
Right, I got you.
C45 might be a little more that than the BE.
I like it. That's just a
But
little.
both, I mean, both. It's like very tweakable EQ wise. So like if you
Right.
change the EQ and presence and everything and dial it in with an amp switcher back and forth with comparing to the plexi, and you can get either one really close.
Okay. James from Rewind, what's going on, man? I fucking owe you a call. I suck. We're gonna do a giveaway for hitting 30,000 subscribers, of which, I mean, we're
Some
pretty.
of James's great pickups.
We're pretty damn close. Like, hang on, I gotta check it out. Like, I think we're almost at maybe 3,900 subscribers. Hang on, let me see. No, sorry. What did I say? 3,000. 29,938. 29,938 is what we're at. I had a brain fart there. So for 30,000, which we're going to hit like any day now, we're going to do a giveaway. But I have to think of the kind of the contest. I'm thinking what the contest might be, Dave, would be just people promote our channel on Instagram. Just tag us. Just tag us on Instagram. Like I'll put Mario can maybe do like a promo image, right? And we can have whoever tags us the most on Instagram with that promo image, promoting the channel, will get the prize. What do you think of that?
That might work. Yeah.
And that way it's more quantifiable. Like I can actually like count how many people have tagged,
Yeah.
and I can keep track of it, because otherwise it was like when we were asking like trivia questions and stuff that people got upset, and like this way I can actually just be like, okay, this person had X, Y, and Z tags and that's it.
Right. Yeah, it's always tough when you do this kind of thing to figure out how to do the contest.
Yeah. I've seen other people do that with the tagging on Instagram, and I think it's a good idea. So I think we might do that. James, I'll reach out to you. I promise I'll reach out to you this week. And we'll do the giveaway because, hitting 30,000 subscribers. I want to thank everybody who watches the show, as subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the bell, hit subscribe, and check out all our content. All right. And all right. So James, he got his Tone Talk tank top today. I got to tell you, I hope it lasts for you because, to be totally honest, my wife bought a Tone Talk tank top and 3 washes, it fell apart. And I was kind of like, fuck, that sucks. So I hope it lasts for you. It's spring, if it doesn't, let me know, James, because I'm going to reach out to spring and.
Yeah, if not, you can reach out or you might be able to pick a different tank top that is a higher quality one or something. Of course, it costs more money, but
maybe. It was but it was like the actual like stick on like just came off. So,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
it
shouldn't come off. Yeah,
no, it can happen, but it shouldn't.
So let me know, James. Let me know after you wash it a couple times if it sucks, or if it holds up. So he has to build up his 6v6s into some KT88s. His arms
6v6 biceps.
Yeah. By the way, I took out the and rebiased the modern vintage. Those KT66s, man, those are huge. I mean, I've never even seen KT88s in person. I guess the 88s are even bigger.
KT88s are bigger, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Those things are massive.
Yeah, they are big.
I was impressed. Sure. I have to order when you start seeing like mirroring in the glass.
As long as they're reading okay and the current's okay, it's fine.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering about that. All right. Thanks, James. I promise I'll be in touch. And we'll do this because he has some awesome pickups, and the pickup that he wants to give away, if he still has it, if he doesn't, I understand because I haven't been in touch with him. But if he still has it, it's killer. So,
man, I have the 3 guitars next to my bench that are just stacked up right like against the wall next to my bench. I have all 3 of his pickups he sent me. I have the VH1, I have the creme brulee, and I have another A5 one, which I'm not sure exactly which one that was, but it's A5 magnet one. They sound great. All of them. They're all different.
Yeah. All different, and they
all different, all cool.
Yep. He's
really cool, actually.
Yeah,
yeah.
He knows his shit.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yep.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. Last scattering surface. What's going on? Hey guys,
scattering surface. That's a new one.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, man. Dave, do you ever get funny looks in public when you're on the phone talking about pink tacos and hairy brown eyes?
I don't even know how to answer that.
Oh man. I read online someone was like, yeah, I don't like to buy Dave's amps because he's so childish with his amp naming. I was like, oh, shut up.
Oh yeah, keep talking about it. Thank you.
Yeah. Right.
If you've noticed, I've sort of moved all away from that. I don't really do that anymore. So
I haven't, well, I guess, I mean,
unless it's a revamp of the same amp that existed,
Yeah, but even still, I mean, have a sense of humor. My God, we've gotten so fucking serious.
I know.
It's just ridiculous. It's just, I'm sorry. It's just,
there's a big fat restaurant on Sunset Boulevard that is the Pink Taco on a massive sign.
Yeah.
So,
whatever. It's ridiculous. And when you did the HB, well, when you did,
I'm going to start using numbers from now on.
Yeah.
like Ibanez.
Yeah.
This is the RG
550
H9567885. Can you remember that? No.
It's not catchy.
No. I understand why Marshall used numbers. 2203, 2204. 1959. I get it. It's easier. You might not remember it as well.
But it was so confusing. I mean, it's like, oh, the 1987, the 19,
What's a 1987? I still, someone will email me. It's like, can you mod blah, blah, blah amp? And I'm like, Wait a minute. 20. What is that? Which one is that one again? Because I know them visually, but like if it's more an obscure one, I don't,
Yeah, like the 2061.
Yeah, whatever. And then I
Yeah.
literally go to Google. It's like, oh yeah, that one. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, they're obscure, some of them. Thanks, Last Scattering Surface. Joseph Culver. Dave, I bought the 1970 Marshall EVH amp off of you a few years ago.
Yep.
Ooh, which one is
That
this?
was that was the one used in the Pete Thorne video.
The 1970 Marshall EVH amp.
The one we used in the deep dive EVH thing with Pete
Oh,
Thorne and
I see. Okay, I got you.
that the amp that was used in that.
The one that you modded to sound like EVH. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Will you be making a Mick Mars themed amp? The answer is yes, right?
Yes, that will be happening, although I haven't worked out those details yet. But yeah.
And what are your thoughts on Wizard amps?
Wizard amps are a great amp. I mean, Rick, I've known Rick at Wizard a long time. He won't come on the show. Damn. But I've known him a long time. Goes way back. He's a super nice guy. He makes a great quality amp. If you like the sound of it, it's for you. It's going to be brutal though and loud. So that's what it does well. It's cool though.
Yeah. They're pricey.
They're pricey. Yep.
Yep. But you get what you pay for. Jose G. What's going on? Happy Friday. Dave, congrats on all the positive reception to the Plex. You mentioned Bogner monitored your Plexi and you didn't like it. What was the mod and what was good about it in your 20 watt and not so good in the 50 watt?
I have no idea what the mod was. I don't have the 20 watt anymore. Actually, a friend of mine has it. I don't even know how it's modded, to be honest, because at the time it was modded, I wasn't an amp guy. So I would have to look at that amp all over again to know. It's just a totally different amp. It's a totally different power section. It's a totally different set of tubes. The amp didn't have a full EQ on it. It was, like a tone knob. So it was a totally different amp. So when he applied whatever that mod was to the 50 watt, it didn't sound anything like the 20 watt.
I got you.
But I didn't like it.
Okay. Thanks for the question. Zeke Downey. Hopefully Jerry Cantrell will still make the show. I hope so. It's been 7 years. Hopefully he'll make it before we hit 10. How about that? No, he's supposed to I think when he's going to promote his new album, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So I hope
and
so.
Yeah, I heard Jerry he pulled the old fish out for some stuff. I don't know how that went for him. I know a few shows that they were doing. I think he used that. So I don't really know.
Okay. Cool. Pentatonic Prancer. Good evening, gentlemen. Dave, is Ampete and KHE audio with attenuator loop essentially the same units quality and performance wise?
KHE is yes, for the most part, yes. KHE is smaller. Single rack space, like the one I have is single rack space, 8 amps and 4 cabs.
And what's the Ampete? It's double.
Well, Ampete has several different models, so and some of them don't have MIDI, and so it depends on what your purpose is with it.
Well, I want to get it.
I mean, KHE is great, so I have no issues with it. Ampete's great also.
Now, is Ampete, since he's located in the States now, are they produced in the States still, or are they still?
I think so. I don't really know what the status is on that.
Okay. Gotcha. I forgot his name for some reason. Peter. That's right. Peter Arends. Yeah. He's no longer with
Bad Cat.
No. Yeah. I wonder where he's going to land.
Don't know.
Yeah, I was sorry to see you left bad. I like Peter. Bill L. Dave, I have a DS40 and I'd like to mod the power amp for a bit less low end. I read that there's a deep cap that can be changed. Is that correct? If so, what values would you suggest?
Yeah, there's a deep cap that can be changed, but you don't have to change the cap. The resistor that's paralleled across the cap, you just need to change it to a smaller value. So it's a 220K right now. You could go to 100K, or you could go to 68K or 47K. Something smaller will get you less low end.
Okay.
Probably try 100, and then if that's not enough, try 68K. Just a guess.
All right.
Or you can or install a pot and make it variable. Then you can choose what you want.
Ooh, that would be nice. Yeah. All right. Jeff Harper. Why does no one build amps with 6V6 or 6L6? Well, they're 6L6 amps. It seems there are a lot more EL84 or 34.
Well, I can tell you that with 6V6s, you really have like two 6V6s available to you. You have an Electro-Harmonix, which is virtually impossible to use at this point because of pricing on Electro-Harmonix tubes, and also the pretty high failure rate. And the JJ 6V6 is good, but it can't really be used in combos very well because they tend to rattle. So really limits your choices. 6L6s, I mean, they're a lot of people use 6L6s. I don't even know. I mean, I have two amps with 6L6s, Dirty Shirley and the Twin Sister. And the 20-watt amps, I use EL84s because it's more appropriate for the wattage that is coming out of the amp. It's you're not neutering the big tube to put that wattage out, essentially.
You're pushing the smaller tube.
You're pushing the small. Well, yeah, not really necessarily pushing, but yeah.
I thought you were beating up those EL.
Well, they're biased quite hot, but so was the original Marshall 20-watt amps and stuff, and which I like the sound of. So.
Right. Cool. Thank you for the super chat, Jeff. Gordon, thank you. Dave, I have the IRX and the IRD. Love them. They are amazing. My question is, how can I run them together? Wet dry setup. Looking for a simple pedal style DI box solution if that exists.
Why do you need a DI box? Is the first question. You don't need a DI box with the IRD or IRX.
It wants to run them together.
And you definitely shouldn't use a DI box, because a standard DI box actually drops the level. So it takes the level from your source and drops it down. The IRX and the IRD are already mic level. They're already designed. You don't want to drop it further. It would be way too low. You can use, there's other boxes out there that's like line isolator boxes that do things, but I don't know why you necessarily need them. A wet dry setup with it, I mean you could split into both of them and put effects in the loop of one and not the other. Might be a possibility. Of course, you do have to pay attention to what effects you're putting in the loop of the one, because if the effects don't have an analog dry path, then you will have a slight delay of the signals, and that will be not a good thing. So I don't know. I need to know more about what you want to do exactly. You can email me.
All right. Give David an email. And what's your email again?
friedmanamps@gmail.com.
There you go, Gordon. Scotty Phoenix. Dave, love my small box 50 combo. Run channel 2 gain at 7 to 8. What pedal would you recommend for solos to add a little more gain and saturation?
How about our Buxom Boost? killer pedal. You can dial it in. You can add a little mid-range if you want. It works really well. Just pushing the front end a little harder.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. That's a good. I use that. It's a great pedal. Behavioral sync. What's going on? This is a bad SLO 100 and general question. He's scared to crank preamps above 7. Is there more to worry about than tube replacement if I run at 11 for 3 hours?
Are you talking about preamps or are you talking about masters? I mean, I'm assuming you're saying masters.
That's what I would think. Because if you got,
I don't really think there's any point in running an SLO cranked like that. You already have a high gain front end, and generally speaking, when you have a high gain front end, by adding power amp saturation to it, it starts sounding like crap. So you probably don't want to run it that hot.
I mean, what would be the
you
like?
can just start turning it up, and you can hear the point when it starts to get worse. And
right,
then
the maximum gain,
and then just turn it back down until you like it. And are you playing that into some sort of load? Are you playing that in at full volume through a cabinet? There's a lot of questions here.
Yeah, that's fucking loud if you're running it into a cab. And
I wouldn't think you should crank it past 7 on a Soldano. Are you going into a load box? That's the first question.
What's the what would you say is like hitting maximum volume before you start getting into power amp gain on that? Like 5?
Oh man, it's probably like 5-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you start clipping the waveform and start getting power, you'll start getting phase inverter clipping first, and then eventually.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's diminishing returns. Like if you are using it into a load and you just listen to an amp, you can crank up the master. You'll hear when it gets crappier. And then you want to back it back down and you're like, oh, okay, it sounds better right in here around 5 or something, 6.
Right.
It's not really, like a high gain amp is not designed to have more gain stacked on top of it. Like that's why like a Marshall works, because like an old 4-input Marshall or something, because that the front end doesn't have gain really. You're distorting the phase inverter and the power section of the amp. And if you piled on a bunch of gain on top of that, it's like if you crank up a Plexi Marshall and then put like a DS1 on top of it, does it sound good? Not really. A little bit of a boost into something like that sounds good, but
Okay. Dave Miller, thank you. Can I run an AB switcher pedal into my JCM 800 and utilize both inputs?
You can't, because in a JCM 800, by plugging into the low input, you disengage the first gain stage. So if you plug 2 cables in, you'll never get the first gain stage. You have to physically unplug the cable from the low input in order to hear the first gain stage.
Interesting. Tobias Ryan. Hey, Dave, which of your amps was the most difficult to develop? Mark, you do a great job moderating the interviews. Hey, man, thank you. Has any guest made you nervous? Yes. First, I'll go with you, Dave. What was your most difficult amp to develop?
I don't know. To be honest, they're kind of all about the same. It's, they're all sort of about the same.
Yeah, there wasn't one that was.
I mean, there isn't one that stands out to me as being more difficult than the others, to be honest.
Okay. Guess who have made me nervous? I mean, I've been starstruck a couple times, especially with Steve Vai and Lukather. I'd say the one that made me most one that made me very nervous was Rusty Anderson,
What was that?
because he had a lot of rules.
Oh,
And then of course then there were like we had to go back and like edit things, and they were like you can't mention that, and there were a lot, so I was nervous with that one. For people that don't know, he played for McCartney.
still does.
It still does, right? And who else? Who else? I mean, Lukather, I was nervous too, because he is like try moderating an interview with Steve Lukather.
There's no moderating.
Right, yeah, exactly.
You gotta put a rope around the neck and hold on for dear life.
Yeah, it's tough trying to run a conversation with Steve, because he goes everywhere and anywhere wherever his mind goes. So Luke was I was definitely nervous because it was rough. And then of course I will say the Jakey Lee one, I kind of got real nervous when both of you guys just disappeared and it was just me on camera. Do you remember that?
No, where do we go?
I think you went to the bathroom or you were talking to somebody. I don't know where you went. And then Jake's like, "Oh man, I'm dying. I gotta go smoke a cigarette." So he's like, "I'm just gonna go."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm just gonna go off on the patio for a second." And then I'm like, "All right." And then it was just me with like 600 people, and I'm like, I have no idea, I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck to say right now. It was funny. So that made me a little nervous. So thanks for the question, Tobias.
Still the most watched show ever.
I know.
So
although Jim Root might surpass it eventually, because Jesus, it's only been a week or 2 weeks, and that show's already at like 60,000 views.
Right.
But yeah, so that's what's made me nervous. Yeah, a couple times. I also have a story with Rick Beato where I was like kind of losing my mind at one point. So Rick, I reached out to him and he said that he to reach out to him on Skype.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm Rick Beato on Skype." So I go, "Okay." So I look up Rick Beato on Skype and there's like 10 of them at least.
Uh-huh.
So the ones that looked most like I figured they had an image, had a picture, kind of looked like they were most likely would be him. I messaged 2 people and both of them answered me that they were Rick Beato.
Oh boy.
Right. So now I'm like, what the fuck do I do? So I'm messaging the one who's messaging me, and it seems like he's actually more Rick Beato than the other one.
Okay.
So then I finally got
Rick Beato.
Right. So then I got to the point where I was messaging them both, and I'm like, "Are you the real Rick Beato?" And the other person didn't answer me, but the real Rick Beato, messaged me, but he got a little like, "Yeah, this is the real Rick Beato." So when I finally talked to him, I was a bit nervous because I was like, I already gave him some grief.
Yeah, Rick's cool though.
No, he was cool. And yeah, it was good. But I kind of felt like an idiot. I was like, "Are you the real Rick Beato?"
The reason I'm saying this is because there's 7 of you.
That's what I said. There's all these people. But anyway, good question. Thanks, Tobias. Fowler. Dave, I have a Plex on order. Was wondering if I can customize the look by ordering a different color faceplate or cab.
You can. You can order different Tolex cabinets. It costs a little bit more. We haven't done any other face plates, but it is totally possible. Sure.
Instead of the gold.
I don't know. What are you thinking?
Maybe black with gold lettering. That'd be cool.
You could do that. You could literally almost could do anything. If you wanted it,
white. Yeah.
You could do white with a pink shell. You could do Richie Faulkner's getting one.
Oh yeah?
He messaged me. Yeah. He's gonna get the white alligator or snake or whatever I did for him in another amp.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
Good to hear. James McNair, what's going on? Thanks for the super chat. Dave, no question. Thanks for making a true EL34 Plexi. So those of us who've never played a real one can experience it in the best way. Power tube distortion, variac voltage drop, switchable bright cap.
Yeah, it's a great sounding amp, and it does exactly what my old one did. And believe me, I have ad nauseum A-B'd these things. You know, is it the same? Everything's the same. Is it just right? Is it and then you second guess yourself and you second guess yourself again and you do it again. And then eventually you're just like, yeah, it is.
And you had other people, I'm sure, listen and give their input.
Yeah, just Pete, really.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was alluding to.
Yeah. I don't do a lot of
opinion getting
because I find that once you get too many cooks in the kitchen, it starts to gets a little skewed, like your recipe won't come out as good as it should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've learned my lesson on that.
I mean, like it's okay. Yeah. I mean, people you really trust and like you really are in tune with what you were going for. Sure.
Right.
Sure.
It's a limited group.
But I'm really like, I don't need to do that. No.
Yeah. Yeah. The question that I have, which I'm sure everybody watching right now has, is why the fuck wouldn't Marshall ever make an amp like this? So they got, all their reissues of their plexis and lower wattage. Like, why wouldn't they do something with a master volume, variac? They know, I mean, it's like right there for them. It's like the low hanging fruit for them, like to come out with a product like that would sell tons, give a master volume for these.
Oh, come on. They have a long history. I mean, I love Marshall amps. I have nothing against Marshall, but they have a long history of not doing things.
It's unbelievable.
And there's a long history of this. I mean, that, there was talk at one point in time, doing an amp with Edward Van Halen, but that never came to fruition. What the fuck?
Right. How did that not come to fruition?
How are you not Marshall and totally like on that? Let's make this happen.
Right.
But I don't know. It's different management at the time, different people running it at the time. I don't really know. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I know as a manufacturer, you have to.
Believe me, I love my old Marshalls and stuff I have. They're great, fantastic amps. I mean, but kind of stopped being a thing years ago,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just amazes me though.
I mean, it's kind of a shame. I don't know.
It is.
I feel, I do have some hope. I mean, there's, their 20-watt amps that they came out with are great. The little 20-watt Plexi and the little that JTM 45. Oh my God, I didn't know you got that.
Yeah.
When did you get that?
I got it like 2 weeks ago. A week and a half ago.
That just wins the award for looking cool.
Yes, it looks fantastic.
I mean, I don't care what it sounds like. It does sound like a JTM 45. So it's good. It looks unbelievably good.
Yeah.
I remember when Pete did a video of it, and when he first got his in, and this was before it was available. He goes, "You got to see this." He pulls it out. I'm like, "Oh yes!"
Especially with the cab, because
the metal logo kills me. I always love that metal logo. I always wish to do like a Friedman logo, kind of like that metal logo.
Huh?
But it's like a cast logo. It's
right.
A pain in the ass to do.
It's probably costly.
Yeah, but I always like, oh, that would be cool to do though.
It's a very cool,
something like it at least.
Yeah, it's a very cool look, especially with like that, whatever that fabric is as well.
Yeah, and that fabric is just spot on too. It's awesome. I actually owned an original amp like that once.
Yeah, I really like it. It's a cool amp. It's it's a different thing. It's very vintage. It's not I mean, you can maybe do like some Allman Brothers and stuff, but you're not getting like hard rock with that thing.
No.
So, not at all. But thanks, James, for the question.
Thank you.
Javier Montoya, what's up, man? Hey, Dave, how do you like the Alnico cream for an all-arounder hard rock to funk, closed back or open back? Thanks.
Well, here's the thing. I've heard really good results with it. I've never actually physically put one in a cabinet that was my own. So I've heard people put them in 4x12s and they sound really cool with them. I don't know if I really have a good idea in my head what it exactly sounds like, though.
Razor
Razor put some. It seems to be a good speaker
for heavy music.
Really interesting that it's a very expensive speaker. It's interesting that it sounded good for that. I wouldn't have thought that, but it does. It's a cool, from what I've heard, it's a cool speaker. I can't myself say I've sat there with a cab. I just loaded them in and played it for a long time.
Check out Reza Matrix, REZA Matrix YouTube channel.
Is it Matt? Is it Reza Matrix?
Maddox? I thought it was Matrix. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think it's Matrix. I think it's Maddox.
Okay.
I could be wrong too.
I don't know. But just look up Reza, and he has a bunch of demos of amps and stuff, and I believe testing with Alnico cream speakers. So let's go 3J Music. What's up? I just got my Friedman New Sound of Rock shirt. It's cool that you do tall sizes. I think I got banned from Facebook page for posting new shirt day. Oh, really?
Really? Well, I'm glad you got that they got it from the new Teespring Friedman thing. If you go to our website, you can just click on merch and it takes you right to Teespring.
I saw someone got the wrong shirt.
Yeah, they actually just sent them the completely. They didn't even send them a Friedman shirt. It was like something
some
else.
other brand. Yeah.
I'm assuming there's a customer service thing for Teespring that end user can contact and go, hey, you sent me the wrong shirt.
There is. They have a bot, like some kind of bot on their website, so you can go on there.
I haven't even looked. Since we set it all up, I haven't even looked to how many shirts we've sold. I think we've sold a bunch.
Wow, that's nice. I got to get a shirt too. Bandalara, no question. I'll check the regular chat to see if you missed it, but thanks for the super chat.
Thank you.
Fowler 89989. Thank you, Dave. I have the BE50 Deluxe and I love it. Can I order a BE50 with a Plexi clean channel? You guys are the best. Yeah, you can.
Can you? You can, or you can modify the one you have, or you already have. Can you order it? Yes, sure, I can do that. Can you modify the one you have? Yes, I could do that too. If I had to do it over again, I would have just put it in there.
Really, instead of doing the Bucks and Betty clean?
It seems like more people want
the Plexi
channel than they do the Fendery clean. Although, the Fendery clean that's on the B50 Deluxe sounds great.
I love it. I have it on.
It's really cool for pedals and things. And
that's what I have my 100.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges. Do you want clean or do you want gritty clean?
I've got the Plexi channel on the Jake amp. Yeah. So
there you go.
Best of both worlds.
Covered. You have all sorts of amps.
Yeah, I've got too many.
Mark, you might have a problem.
I think I do. But I buy responsibly. So I don't put myself into debt doing it. Which I would say for everybody who out there, just be careful. Don't get yourself into debt.
Don't get yourself into $50,000 credit card debt on gear.
Yeah, watch out. If you can't afford it, I know it's easy to say, but just if you can't pay that credit card bill off at the time that they give you that free interest, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Because at the end, oh my God, 35% interest.
Yeah, and some of them, yeah.
Yeah, you don't pay, you pay late or something, you get hit with that, you're just screwed. So buy responsibly. But yeah, I do have a problem. Absolutely. This show does not help.
I have the opposite problem. I actually have a hard time parting with money to buy something I really sort of want.
Do you?
Yeah, even if I really want it, I don't need it. I don't need anything.
Right.
But if I really want it, um, occasionally I'll just go for it. But it's really rare. I don't really buy myself much stuff. And I don't really need any stuff. That's why. But do I want I've been as explorer, from the old one like Pete has. Yeah, sure, I'd love that. I'd like a matching V also. Those would be my ultimate two little things I'd like to have. I see stuff all the time. Do I need it? Will I play it? Probably not. I play the 3 guitars next to my bench mostly, and and then I talk myself into selling other ones because I don't touch them.
Right.
Yeah,
I've always been a collector. See, my problem is I've been a collector ever since. Like, if I get into something, I collect it.
Yeah.
Right. So unfortunately, it's just a gene in my.
I'm not so much that of a collector as I am. Although my amps are stacking up over here, my vintage amps and stuff.
Well, I see. It looks like you cleaned something out on top of that.
Oh no, that's just my Fawn Marshall is sitting in the other room, and the basement that was on top of it is sitting on top of my box next to me here. So I was using the Fawn Marshall for something to AB something too. Most of what I have, though, I want to keep. So, I'm actually thinking about, because I'm so busy doing amp work for everyone else. There's a couple Fender amps I have. I was thinking about sending them to Lyle and have Lyle just work on them. Lyle Caldwell. Just because I'll just never, ever, ever get to doing the work that they need. I just won't. I won't get to it because there's 50 other people wanting me to do something.
Yeah, it's just easier to send it out and get it done.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, Lyle, you want to work on this basement? Put it on your YouTube channel.
I was gonna say he'll have some content.
Put it. So I might do that. Actually, I haven't told him that yet. Hey, Lyle, if you're watching, I might have a couple amps for you.
It's a good way to find out. Yeah, cool. What was I going to say? Have you? Well, we got to that one, right? Have you purchased any new?
No,
new. We didn't get to that one yet.
All
right, maybe I'm having a brain
fart.
Mark
or Dave, have you purchased any new or new to you guitars recently? I have not purchased any new guitars. I do not need guitars. If someone would like to give me an Ibanez Rock and Roll V or a Explorer, though, I'll be happy to accept them.
That's a good gift. That would be a nice gift. Going back to what you were saying about,
I'm also willing to trade something too.
Well, there you go. That's better than giving it away for free. Life is short. And that's how I rationalize. If there's something I like and I can afford it, I'm going to buy it. And
sure, you should.
And I'm not going to, because the reason why I'm kind of going down this path is I just want to say a friend of mine passed away today.
Oh no, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, his name was JC. And I've known him since he was a kid. He was a good friend, best friends with my cousin. And his name was John Claude Damien, JC. Really nice guy. He passed away at 50. And anyway, yeah, rest in peace. He got sick. He and his wife went to the Dominican Republic, and he came back and was sick. From what I understand, came back, got sick, and didn't get better, and his wife found
sick
him.
With what?
I don't know. I don't know the details yet.
Oh God,
it literally just happened today.
Terrible,
horrible. Yeah, young guy, 50, and so I'm really bummed.
Life's short.
Life is short.
Enjoy
it, and just
enjoy it. Don't don't deprive yourself if you can afford, if you cannot put
Don't put
yourself
yourself in debt, but
debt,
yeah,
but
because eventually
you
you're gonna
know,
put your family in debt. But
yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean,
enjoy
like
it.
if you have the opportunity to do something, do it. Just go, just do it.
I agree because you know what? We went last year. We went to a trip to Europe,
Yeah, I remember.
and at the time I was bitching and moaning about how much it was and all this shit. You know
You had a
what? It
great time.
was fucking awesome. We talk about it all the time. The memories that we have from it, the pictures that we have from it. So I encourage everybody go on vacation, enjoy the time with your family, and because life is really short, man. It
Yeah.
really is. Oh, by the way, I told you we're going to stay at the Roxy in New York.
Yes, you did, and you're gonna love that hotel.
I checked out the videos of that place, man. Holy shit.
Do you like oysters?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so there's I think every day at between 4 and 7 or 4 and 6 or something, there's a happy hour where it's half priced oysters at the hotel bar
Wow.
restaurant thing,
Okay.
and they're great
Really?
and well worth it. It's like I think it puts them down really affordable like
Hmm.
price.
And
It
of
was,
course you're
it was
drinking.
amazing, and a beautiful bar. I mean, like a nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I could just hang out in the bar the whole time.
Yeah,
It's really
they have a
nice.
jazz bar. They've got all kinds
Well,
of
they do live jazz in the lobby, up to a certain time, and then downstairs, which I didn't actually go into, but downstairs there's another jazz club after 10 that
right.
goes late that does stuff. But it's just it's just a beautiful hotel, man. It's
Yeah, it's
great.
killer.
The rooms are killer. Everything is the bed I had was one of the most comfortable beds I've ever slept in a hotel.
Hmm.
I mean, it just swallowed you and you didn't want to get out of it.
Wow. Well,
And
you
that,
know,
and that's at first I'm like, is this too soft? And it was weird. It was like felt soft,
mhm.
but I didn't wake up with a backache or anything. It just like I was very comfortable.
I can't believe I never heard of this hotel. I mean,
It used
'cause
to be
I've been
called something else. I think it was Soho Grand or something originally,
okay.
or something. Scott, when I ran into Scott Ian there, we were talking about that. He goes, "Yeah, it used to be something." I don't remember what he said. And he goes, "You love." He goes, "This place is great. I'm never staying anywhere else in New York."
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's got a great
yeah,
reputation. I mean, the videos that I've seen on it are great,
yeah.
great reviews, and
Reasonably centrally located to go places. Like if you want to walk over to Chinatown, you just a walk.
yeah, it's great.
You just walk, and it's fine. I mean, my son and I walked all the way from there, all the way up to the Empire State Building area. Which is a long walk, but
Yeah, that's a
but
long walk.
but it's fine on a nice day. It's totally fine.
Yep.
We
Yep.
got used to walking a lot there, so
Yeah, that's the thing.
that's what you do. And
Exactly.
it was a long walk, but it wasn't like hard. It was
Yeah.
you just keep walking and just go, and oh, we're here. Okay, great. The only problem is when you're taking a long walk like that is when it's like, oh shit, I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, and then you gotta find a
I
place
gotta
to go.
pee somewhere, and then you're like, where the who has a bathroom that'll let you use it?
That I
That gets a little hairy actually at times.
It does. It does, because they
You're
won't
like
let you in. They
you're
won't let
like,
you in.
you start looking for a Starbucks or a McDonald's.
Oh my god, when I lived in the city, this is years ago, though, we're going back in, early '90s. I was walking to where I used to work. I used to work on 12th and Broadway.
Uh-huh.
It was a music store, not an instrument store, a CD store,
Right.
and they had videotapes and stuff. I was walking down there from either walking to work or walking back home from work, and I had to go. Like, I had to take a shit in the worst way. Okay. I'm fucking dying. And I walked into one of the grocers, and I said, please, I was begging them, please
I'll
let me
pay
use
you.
your
I'll
bathroom.
pay you.
Please let me use your bathroom. And they're like, no bathroom, dude, and I'm like, oh my, I did start screaming. I started getting really like, you fucking give me the keys. I'm going to lose my shit. Literally.
If not, you're going to have a big mess on your floor.
Oh my God. I still ended up having to walk out and run home. It was horrible. So Zeke, I'm sorry about that shitty story.
Literally.
The most recent guitar that I got was a EVH Stealth. I got the EVH Wolfgang Special Stealth. I picked that up from Sam Ash used. I will tell you one thing that I just picked up from Sam Ash just the other day. I've been I've been playing drums longer than I play guitar. So, and I have an electronic drum kit in the garage, and I've always wanted to
attest to that.
Yeah, Ryder played on it.
Yeah.
I wanted to get. I've always wanted to learn how to play double bass, and so I picked up a double bass pedal.
Oh,
for the electronic kit, and I'm gonna learn it. And I
You never did that?
never played double bass.
Oh.
Always single bass. So I'm gonna try to learn that and try to get that. And I also figured it'd be a good cardio workout for my legs. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So that's gonna be my summer thing. I'm gonna try to learn double bass again. Not again, but play drums and get back on the kit and try to do that.
Right.
So that was my latest purchase, Zeke. I'm sorry to see Sam Ash going out of business, though. I will say that. Is there a Sam Ash by you guys, Dave?
Yeah, there was one on Sunset.
Are they closed?
There used to be two, but yeah. I don't know. I haven't been over there forever.
Oh.
I'm assuming they're closed now, or we're just closing and they're selling closeouts and stuff.
The store by me is still.
I went there. I did a clinic there once, and yeah, they didn't have much then. It was pretty sad state in there.
Yeah, I think the nicest store that they have was the one in New York, which is the 34th Street store that they had, which had some pretty cool stuff. They occasionally had some cool guitars in there that I would get, or a couple cool amps that would come through. Nice people. I'm really sorry to see Sam Ash go. Kind of sign of the times, I guess. Bandalora, thanks. Oh, I guess that was for your question from earlier. There you go. Yeah. Sorry, I had to do it twice. You guys remember Mojave amps? I do. I have the 50-watt Scorpion. Still sounds great. Paid $3,000 18 years ago.
It was a very cool amp. It was all metal film resistors and like a stainless steel chassis. God forbid if you had to drill something, because I've been asked to do that before. Drilling in a stainless steel chassis is like drilling into nothing happens. You can't get through it. It's like the craziest thing you've ever seen. They were really well made. It was really, really cool. Maybe overkill.
Like industrial strength.
Maybe a bit overkill. I mean, the stainless steel chassis was a bit overkill.
Didn't Ken Fisher do that also?
No.
I thought he did. Okay.
No. In fact, I think that's the only one I know of that ever did it.
Okay.
And within reason. I mean, you can't. Yeah, it's cool, but it's unnecessary, and maybe some of the choices of the resistors and things in those amps weren't the greatest for the sound, but they were really well made and a cool amp. So yeah.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Awesome. Thanks, Bandalora. Murray Guitar Pickups. What's up, man? Good day, gentlemen. I love the Plex, Dave. Great work. Awesome.
Killer.
John DeShane. Dave, would it be ideal to run the Plex cranked with a power station, or does the master take care of that? Also, will there be a 100-watt Plex?
I don't know if there'll be a 100-watt Plex. If I were to choose to do a 100-watt Plex, it would be probably just a limited run or something. I don't think it'll be like, it's a lot of amp to maybe there'll be a 100-watt. Maybe
do a special run.
I'm not sure. Maybe a special run, but I think it would be very limited if I decided to do that.
Does the circuit have to
Does
change, or is it just the output transformer? And
Oh no, the transformer is just a bigger chassis. It's a thing.
mm,
Um, I would build it the same way though.
right,
Um,
just be louder.
the master versus the power station. Okay, look, the master works really well. It works down very low if you'd like. Power station, does it sound a little bit better? It cranked into the power station. I would say slightly. Has a little more of a juicy quality to it, a little more gushy feel to it, cranked and not using the master. But the master does work quite well. 90% of what it would be into the power station. How's that? But of course, with the power station, then you get to add an effects loop.
Right.
So that's cool.
Yep. Well, check out Fry at power stations. They're in well in demand.
They're well in demand and low, hard to find. Actually.
Hard to find. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, does he have an outside company that makes them for him, or does he manufacture?
Yeah, no, he doesn't actually physically. I mean, they're yes, there's outside vendors that supply some things of the product that he does them in runs essentially.
I see.
So
it's an awesome product.
Yeah, it's a great product.
Okay, Richard Seckerson. What's up? Thanks,
hey, Richard.
Morning, evening, Mark and Dave. Love the Freeman Plex. Wow, man, so many sick tones with so many different guitars. Every day, something new. Hit it out of the park.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
That's awesome. Bandalora, I'm sorry you had to type this in 3 times. Shit, man. I owe you a drink. But we already answered that. So,
yep.
But yeah, thanks, man.
We were getting you there.
Yeah. Christian Daniel, hey Dave, how do you use multiple cabs on an amp that says to use only one speaker output at a time?
What are you referring to?
Multiple cabs on an amp that says only use one speaker output at a time.
Yeah, what amps are you referring to? Meaning, like, if it's an amp that has multiple jacks on it that have different impedances on the jacks, you shouldn't use, like, for instance, like some of our amps have one 16 ohm jack, and then a pair of jacks that say one 8 ohm cab or two 16 ohm cabs, and then the 4 ohm one is one 4 ohm cab or two 8 ohm cabs. It says. So you shouldn't use like a 16 ohm cab and a 4 ohm cab at the same time. That's not how you do it. You, like, if you have two 16 ohm cabs, for instance, you would plug into the jacks that say two 16 ohm cabs or one 8 ohm, because it's an 8 ohm load at that point. And the same goes for the 4 ohm thing too. If you have two 8 ohm cabs, it should be in the 4 ohm jacks that say single 4 ohm or two 8 ohm cabinets. We try to make it as clear as possible, but I mean, Mesa has similar speaker jack layout. So do many amps. I think I answered that question.
Okay, cool. Just pulling something up here. All right. Dave, what's your opinion on the Celestion Neo speakers, the Creamback and V-Type? Thanks, Bill.
Man, generally speaking, I don't really care for any Neo speakers. I think they sound weird to me. So, although the Creamback one is somewhat okay, not my favorite choice. They're light, but they're also a little light on the tone.
That's what I've heard, because Fender did those Celestion Neo speakers in their that Tone Master series of amps,
right?
And they eventually quickly swapped them for the regular
stuff.
Yeah, regular Celestion, whatever they put in. I have a Princeton here. What did they put in there? Hang on, I'll tell you.
B-type, maybe?
It's a Jensen special design, actually.
Oh, okay.
Instead of a Celestion Neo. But
yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's not great though.
Well, I do know that they were putting in like for the bigger amps, like maybe the basement or whatever it was that they had for the Fender's Tone Master series, but I didn't hear good things. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
about the Neo speakers. Tim Connors, what's going on? Thanks for the super chat. Dave, really wanting the Plex amp. Man, that sounds incredible. Yeah, man, it does. Mark, how's your amp from Jason and Shay? It is arriving tomorrow.
He doesn't know.
I don't know. I mean, I heard a picture of it. There's a picture. I mean, I heard a video of it that Shay and Jason did, and and it sounded killer. So, yeah, I'm psyched. I can't wait to get it. It's like my first modded amp that I've had outside of working with Dave. So I'm excited. Something different. Fowler 989, please forgive my ignorance, Dave. I get the feeling this is a stupid question. Is it possible to put your effects between the amp and speaker cab without blowing anything up? No,
you can't. You cannot take a speaker level signal and put it through an effect that you will definitely blow something up. You could buy something like a power station though and stick it there, sort of in between, so to speak, and then have an effects loop on it.
Okay. Thanks for the question. And no question is stupid. So, not when you're paying us. I'm just kidding, man. Clyde Broadway. Hey, guys, you want to throw out a few sleeper amps? Mine is a Crate VC20.
Huh. Sleeper amps.
I have one.
Yeah, what?
Fender ProSonic.
Oh, ProSonic was a cool amp.
That was a cool amp, right?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Man. I mean, those PV-VTM amps were cool. There's some Laney amps that were cool. I mean, shoot. What's it called? The sorry. I'm gonna find it.
Okay.
What is it called? The
My other one is a Marshall Vintage Modern. I know you're not a fan of it, but the way
I didn't say I'm not a fan of it. I mean, it can be great.
Yeah, well, the way I'm running it now it sounds killer.
Okay, cool.
I'm running it into the power station.
Oh, and you're cranking it up.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Laney I'm thinking of. The old GL something, GL 100 or something like that. Those were actually cool. Laney was a really quite. If you look at schematics of Laney's, they were quite ahead of their time with amps. They were kind of like really early on in the higher gain thing. It wasn't quite dialed in entirely right, but they were really quite good. Trying to think what other sleeper amps there were, I know I've encountered this over the years, and nothing is popping in my head right now.
Yeah, I understand. Those are my.
I mean, I honestly think a PV Classic 30 was a pretty cool amp, especially if you change the speaker out in it. It was a good sounding, dirty and clean, and it was good. The old Butcher amps, they were cool too.
Oh, the PV Butcher?
PV Butchers, yeah. The JCM 800, basically.
Cool. Ben Brerd, what's up, man? Thanks for Reinhold,
yeah,
2 weeks, sure. He doesn't know it yet, but sure. Chris Puckett, what's going on? Hey, Dave, what's that little thing next to it? Maybe he has a little image that I can't see. Object, it says OBJ. You see that next to it?
What? Oh, yeah, I see that. I don't
know. Is a amp design affected by changes or advancements in the design of the pickups? The Fluence Fishman, as an example, does your approach change with an amp design as the pickups change or modernize?
No, not really. I mean, I don't. Yes, a Fishman Fluence pickup is a modern design that hasn't existed prior. I don't think anything done now with pickups other than that is anything new. Yes, there's different winding patterns and there's different magnet choices and different things, but it's kind of all the same thing. It's just been done over and over and over again. And the Fishman is trying to actually sound like all the pickups that were done over and over and over again. So, and the thing about the Fishman that I don't care for is the fact you still have an active circuitry in the guitar, and it's adding more hiss to your overall sound. I mean, it's adding like if you just plug it in, it's more hiss than you would if you plugged a passive pickup into your amp. That's because of the active circuitry. That kind of bothers me a little bit. Do some of them sound really cool? Sure, they sound good. Yeah. Do they sound that much different than other pickups that exist? I don't think they do, because I think they're trying to make them sound like a PAF or a JB or something like that. Are some of them quiet? Yes. Are some of them not quiet? Yes. So, no, I use kind of classic and tried and true sort of pickup designs when doing amps. I don't really take into consideration anything else.
Okay. Hobo Roadie, what's going on? Hey, Dave, John DeShane wants to know about the 100 watt Plex, and so do I. It's going to be
we'll
limited.
See.
Maybe.
It will definitely be limited if I do it.
Maybe. When's the next garage sale?
That's a good point. I do have a bunch of crap laying around here.
Yeah, I do have some stuff.
I have. I definitely have. I could definitely do another sale. We might have to do that soon.
Okay. I'll put it down.
I have a few guitars that I'm maybe willing to part with. I have some random amps.
I have pickups,
some random amps. I have some pedals. Yeah, I have a few items.
Yeah, me too. All right, we'll have to do it. Green Rectangle says Tone Talk shirts made of very soft, great material, super comfortable. Oh, good.
Great.
I'm glad to hear that.
Is that one up from the bottom? The shirt that you chose, Mark, or
what's that?
On the shirts that you chose on Teespring, is it the most affordable one, or is it?
I don't know. My wife bought it. It was the one my wife bought, so I don't know.
No, not on that. Just the T-shirt that they were talking about.
This one?
The thing you just said. Yeah. So what are the shirts you use off of Teespring?
Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Yeah. Because there's kind of two choices. There's one that's a little more expensive, and there's the cheapest one. And I don't know.
I'll have to look.
Kind of curious.
Yeah. Well, let me.
Not important right now.
All right. Well, I'll let you know. I honestly don't know. I think maybe I picked the better one, if I remember correctly. But pretty soon, Mark's amps are going to rival Beato's. I don't think so. I hope not. It's not going to get.
I said you need to add on to the back of the house there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's got a crazy collection. You ever see the collection? Not only Kyle from Kyle Bull, he's got a crazy collection too.
Oh yeah.
Insane collection. Also the Tone King.
Oh yeah.
Is crazy. Okay. I'm going to go through any other questions. If there's any other super chats.
There is.
We got one more. Dave, does this amp make sense? Pink Taco Wildwood spec combo with EL34s. Best to you and Mark and I and Mark. I enjoy the show and products. Thanks, man. EL34s I don't think would work, right?
Well, it's not going to work in the stock thing, no. But I mean, does it make sense? I don't know. Does that make sense? A 20 watt with EL34s? I don't know. I mean, you can. Is it going to be that much different than what you already have with the standard Wildwood one? I don't really think so.
Or get a 50 watt. Can you do a Pink Taco?
That's a whole different thing. Yeah.
Can you do a Pink Taco spec 50 watt? If someone wanted it.
I mean, it's very similar to. I mean, it's not that far off from a small box or something, you know.
Okay. I know, like Michael Nielsen has like what, a 50 or 100 watt Dirty Shirley.
There's a 100 watt Dirty Shirley, a BE channel, and a Dirty Shirley in one box,
which is super cool.
Yeah,
that's a cool option. You ever think about offering that as like a standard line?
No, but anything's possible. Limited runs of things are anything possible. You know,
that's a cool idea to combine both those amps into one amp. Yeah, I like
the idea of doing limited runs of things. Except then everyone bombards you later. Oh, can't you make me one, please? Can you make me one?
Right. Yeah.
No,
that's why it's limited.
Too late.
Right. Yeah. All right, let me see if there's any other questions. I mean, there's tons of stuff in the regular chat, and I hate to ignore people in the regular chat because we just get super chats. Randy Price says Richie Faulkner is playing Wizards and they sound phenomenal. Yeah, and he's cranking those puppies. It's funny that Andy Sneap said that Richie's going to go deaf. he's like, I don't know how he takes that volume. Yeah. Let's see. But some guys can deal with it. Some guys' ears just don't.
Some guys never, ever have issues with their ears. Like Steve Stevens, for instance. Like, I don't ever notice any issues with his hearing, and he played loud forever. Ever.
Does he still play loud?
Well, no, there's cabless stage now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I saw he was using a quad cortex for
something. Well, that was for Fly Date or whatever.
Yeah.
But his rig goes into some load boxes and stuff.
Braxol says I love my KHE amp switcher. Use a Stream Deck to switch amps.
Cool.
I got to get an amp switcher. That's the next thing on the list. Do Friedman guitars have a treble bleed? If so, what is the circuit?
They do not have a treble bleed because I don't like treble bleeds. If the pickup is sort of designed right, it doesn't get really dark when you roll off the volume knob. And I much prefer the taper of a untreble bleed volume knob over putting a treble bleed on it.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, even if it does dull it a little bit, I sort of like it. So no, I don't use treble bleeds.
Okay. I understand, Mandalore. Not sure how to navigate with Super Chat. That's all right. We appreciate it. Thanks for the question, man. Dave, my Rev Generator 740 has 6V6 tubes. What do you recommend for replacement tubes? Oh, we talked about it. Yeah.
Probably JJ's,
yeah.
most likely. If it's a head, most likely. I don't know what they used in it originally.
Deja Blue. Didn't Mike talk about power amp levels in his old Tone Talk? You mean Mike Soldano?
As far as like the size of tube used with the power amp levels, and the only way you get less, like for instance, like you used a pair of EL34s or a pair of 6L6s, the only way you're going to get less power is to lower the plate voltage of the amplifier and or cathode bias it and or both. Like for instance, a Marshall, it's very low plate voltage. Marshall 20 watt, very low plate voltage, and it's cathode bias. So you're sort of neutering the tube a little bit, you know. It does work, but you're sort of missing the point of the tube, kind of.
Michael Nielsen says his SLO sounds best from 2 to 4 on the master volume. Past 11, it doesn't sound as good.
Yep.
What he said he was talking about so he's talking about preamp gain.
Preamp gain, you can do whatever, you know, you can whatever you like it.
I mean, I personally wouldn't put the preamp gain on the overdrive channel on a SLO past.
No, because the SLO has a bright cap on the gain pot, and it acts as a high pass filter. So when it's all the way up, it's kind of loose and ugly sounding. You want it probably in that 6 to 7 range. A Soldano 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there in the range is probably where you want it.
That's exactly where
because it'll keep it tighter. And if you boost it past 7, it starts getting looser sounding and not in a good way. I always did all my amps so I could take the gain to 10 and still remain tight and stuff. Mm-hmm. I didn't like relying on the bright cap to give you the tightness that you're looking for. I really kind of hated that.
Okay. L. Scott Music. How does the Plex compare with the Dirty Shirley? Tone topography, is one more flexible? Do they both take boost the same? It's really a different tone.
Kind of different. I mean, a Dirty Shirley is more of a preamp based amp, and it's got more of a JTM 45 big fat tube rectified power section. You have a lot of flexibility, but it is a darker, thicker kind of tone compared to the Plex, which is going to be more strident and brighter and more clang to it.
More
sizzle. Because that's what it does. That's what like a super lead Marshall does. Both great, just different. Depends.
Yeah. I love this channel. Happy Friday. Hey, thanks, Convicted Rocker. Let's see. Yeah. Trying to moderate Luke is like holding a pack of firecrackers in your hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just uncontrollable. But he's so great. I mean, the story was I think it was for the second time he came on. He says to us that he asked me specifically about how his surgery went. You remember this? And it was about his penis reduction. Right? So he says to us beforehand, he's like, make sure you ask me when we start how my surgery went. And I'm like,
this sounds normal for him.
Right. So I go, okay, all right. And that's part of like the nervousness, right? I'm like, okay, I got to get this right. So we go live. And as I'm about to ask him that question, he completely interrupts me and goes into something completely different.
Yeah. And
I didn't even get
about normal, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't even get the question off. He just went into something else. So he totally forgot that I was going to do that, which is so funny. Dave, what's your favorite setting on the Polera reverb?
The plate reverb?
Okay.
How I set the knobs, I don't know. That would be to just ear.
Will Dave ever build a low wattage Steve Stevens Plexi or Steve Stevens 20
Amp?
watt? Yeah.
We have no plans for it currently. Could we? We probably could. But no plans for it at the moment.
Okay. Johan Alverson. Dave, you said a while ago there was an amp that you could do the chugga stuff with, but it would still give you that rubber band feeling. Do you remember what amp that was? I don't remember.
Oh man, I don't know. The rubber bandy kind of feeling, I mean, that's I've always kind of strived for that in a lot of my amps, but I mean, I think might have been talking about the like Twin Sister or Dirty Shirley, maybe with a Buxom boost in front of it. So you could get the Buxom boost would tighten it up and boost it into the chugga land. But you'd still get this elastic feel from the tube rectifier and stuff. Pretty sure that's what it was referencing.
Okay. That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Zach Sabbath says he's Rick Beato.
All right.
That's funny. Well, the real Rick Beato, please stand up. Exactly. Let me see. Any other questions before we head out for the weekend? The long weekend.
It's a long weekend.
Are you working Monday? Or are you off?
I am leaving tomorrow for Catalina Island and not coming back till Monday. So
good for you. Catalina Island. Where's that?
Off the coast of California here. It's about an hour out from Long Beach. You take you take a boat there for an hour. That's great. You should go sometime.
It is Riza Matrix.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. We need Tone Talk merch. We do. We have
Tone Talk merch. It's in there below in the after this video goes live. You can see it. It's there. There's
any of our past videos you should be able to see. When you click on the video, it should have like our merch right there. So if you don't see it, I don't know what's going on. I was going to say, let me know, but I don't know how you let me know.
Stephen Douglas asked, Dave, if you have an amp that have two 8-ohm outputs, i.e. Soldano Astro, does it ever matter which one you should use to power the 8-ohm cab? No, either jack. It's just parallel with each other.
Actually, it's not Matrix. It's Matix. Riza Matix.
Reza Matix.
Matix. Okay.
That's what I thought it was.
Okay. Let's see. Anything else? Awesome show tonight. Thank you, Rocamp. Congrats to Dave on the new Plex. I have the IRX. It sounds awesome. The IRX does sound awesome. Ampaholics, not anonymous. Yeah. First step is admitting you have a problem.
Here's one from L. I have a Rivera TBR1-M. Thoughts on it? I have never actually, I don't recall at least, playing one ever. So I don't really have any thoughts on it. I know it's big, heavy. I really couldn't tell you. Sorry. But I thought I'd answer that.
Okay. Thanks. A toast and a drink to Mark's friend. Yeah, I appreciate it. JC was a really good guy. We actually made his day one day. Me, my wife, and my mother-in-law. We were out he was working for Lexus as a car dealer, and we all went one day and bought cars. All three of us. 3 cars in one day for him. That was a good day for him. So
cool.
All right. Sorry.
The Widow Shredder says the Laney GH100L, great sleeper amp. That's the one I was talking about.
Which one? The Laney
GH100L.
Wow.
Cool amp.
What's it based on? What's it?
I am. I don't know, Marshally, but it's just a great gain amp. It's good. Sounds great.
Okay.
There's some Ampeg guitar amps too that are cool, but like there was this one. What was it called? There was one in particular that people really liked. That is kind of a sleeper amp. I think a Lab Series amp is a sleeper amp too. That was made famous by Ty Tabor. That can be cool.
I guess the other one would be like the Fender Super Champ that Rivera did, right?
Super Champ, yeah. I don't know if it was so much a sleeper. A lot of people like that amp.
Yeah, I guess. Deja Blue, funny story. I feel compelled to share a story. He rented VH Live Without a Net from a local video store, took it apart and swapped the tape inside for a blank VHS tape, and then dubbed it and returned it.
Awesome.
Oh man, we've all done shit like that. Back in the old days before videotapes and video machine, you know what I'm talking about, like video cameras and
yeah.
Like you can't egg anybody's house anymore. Remember back in the day, TP somebody's house or egg their house.
Now you're be caught on video.
Yeah, you get caught on video. There's no way you kids can do that anymore. Doing donuts in someone's lawn. Do you ever do any of that shit?
Yeah, Sure. Sure.
Oh man.
Shooting out people's street lights in their lawn, like the light in the middle of their lawn with the BB gun.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or knocking down somebody's mailbox. We did that too.
Blowing up someone's mailbox.
Yeah, I did some bad shit when I was a teenager. That's why I'm like, my son, thank God he didn't. Well, at least I don't know. You don't know what kids do, I guess. Dave and Mark, can you guys recommend a pedal platform amp that's not Fender Hot Rod amp? I use primarily Super Strat style guitars with Floyds and humbuckers.
I mean, a pedal platform amp, I guess you're primarily saying a clean amp.
Would it have to be a combo, or does it have to be, can it be a head?
I mean, I would still go with a Fender. Maybe, it doesn't have to be a hot rod. It could maybe be a Fender Deluxe or something, or
a Fender Pro Junior,
or Pro Junior, or it depends on how loud you need to be. Even a Princeton is a great pedal platform amp.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
So there's all those.
You could look at the Wampler Bravado.
That's a great pedal platform, man.
Yep. That's a sleeper amp.
You can find one of my old Buxom Betty amps. Those are killer pedal amps.
Yep. Pedal platform amps, yep. Is the Phil-X amp very different from the Plex sound richness wise? Both single channel. It's different. One's
one's a preamp based amp, and one is a completely phase inverter and power amp based distortion. It reacts totally different.
Kevin Leary guitar. Got my Plex last week. What a great amp. My first Friedman amp. Awesome.
Good to hear.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Guitars for your project. Which one of your amps is most like a matchless HC30, but with two channels?
I don't really have anything that really captures that. I mean, we're going to be doing... Yeah, you want two channels. So you basically want kind of an AC30 on one side and a dirty channel on the other or something. Yeah, nothing that I make currently is exactly like that. Reasonably good idea, though.
Dave, what's your current turnaround for amp mods?
Good question. I kind of depends on when it comes in, the amount of amps that I've received in the interim of it coming in, and what it is you're having me do.
It depends.
Depends. Sorry. Yeah.
Which
I mean, you can count on it being, like a few months.
3 months.
3 months, maybe.
Okay. Jerry Cherry, what's going on, man? Jerry was my neighbor. So like just when I started playing guitar, by the way.
Oh.
He still has a slash head from the 90s Jubilee copy. That's a great head. Actually.
Right?
Yeah. I remember I think I told him I wanted to buy it. I still want to buy it. That's a great head. Thanks, Jerry. Jerry's the one who used to play for Chubby Checker. Now he tours with an ABBA cover band or tribute band and does some other stuff. Has a YouTube channel. Check out Jerry's stuff. Nice guy. Jerry and I were out to dinner one night at the Roxy Deli in Times Square and ran into I always seem to run into celebrities with Jerry. We ran into Dennis DeYoung.
Oh.
Who was there. And then another time Jerry and I were walking around back behind the Katz's Deli. We just ate at Katz's Deli. I think that's where we met. And we went somewhere and we were walking back and we ran into Mike Myers, from Austin Powers,
Right.
Which was funny. So anyway, lots of my stories tonight. What else we got?
I'm looking.
Hey, Dave, will you ever add a balanced out a la the Gel 20 to your other 20-watt amps?
As in the Little Sister and the Pink Taco? Probably not.
Okay.
We mostly just had them on the channel switching amps.
If I need to replace the pots in my guitars, what brand do you recommend?
Man, good freaking question.
I can tell you which ones I just got.
What's that?
The Dunlop Super Pots.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say the Dunlop Super Pots might be a good choice.
I like them, although they're a bit stiff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're not, loose. They're not, like very.
I don't like them really loose like the ones they used in the EVH guitars.
Yeah, that's very loose.
That's really loose.
Yeah, they're a bit tight, but it's nice, smooth taper. I think they're
loosen up.
Yeah, they're good. They're good pots. I like them. Give it a try. Try this.
I probably won't recommend CTS because they generally tend to go bad quickly.
What about Bournes?
Yeah, there's Bournes. It's a good question. I know Sir developed a pot with someone that he likes to use now. That is supposedly just keeps working all the time, and it's
a
not
proprietary. The Sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We got 2 more super chats, and we're going to call it a night. How about that? Does that work for you, Dave?
Yep.
James McNair. Dave, what makes the PhilX amp unique? I heard a great demo recently. It was so great with one channel and the guitar volume. I never considered it until now. Damn it, I don't need another amp. Yeah, you do.
I mean, it's not really that unique. It's basically a BE circuit in a single channel format without all the bells and whistles of channel switching and all that. It's a little cleaner signal path. That's really it. It's the same power section as in all the amps. I'm glad you like it. I mean, you should get one.
Does it have a low power mode also?
It has a high low voltage switch. It's not like a Variac per se. It changes the voltage across the entire circuit board to be a higher voltage or a lower voltage, which changes the tone and how the amp responds a little bit.
That's what you have on the Plex too, right?
No, I have an actual variac on the Plex.
Oh, okay. So
that is actually changing what the wall voltage or basically just like a variac.
I see.
The one in the Phil X is just changing a resistor value essentially. That's either boosting the voltage across the board or cutting it across the board.
Interesting. Okay.
And that changes the tone. But it's totally different. It's not a variac.
Okay, good to know. Okay. Stephen Bryan, interested in the AC30 project without the EF86. I know how problematic they can be. Could you elaborate? Sorry if it's been asked and answered.
Well, generally speaking, AC30 didn't have an EF86. So that was AC15 had EF86s. So yeah, definitely not doing an EF86 channel. Nothing but problems. It will be a kind of a top boost channel and like a normal channel, though they'll be phase aligned, so you could actually blend them if you'd like. It will have a similar master to what I use on the Plex, so it will be able to be knocked down a little bit if you'd like. And it'll sound good. I'm gonna AV it to. I have a copper top 60s AC30 amp that has a Mark Sampson added top boost on it, and that'll be the what I'm cloning. So
okay,
cool.
Aren't EVH Borns? I don't know.
Yes,
they are. Okay,
yeah. They are Borns.
Wayne's World. That's right. Yeah, I was smoking a joint. And then there's Mike Myers walking by. I go, oh shit, there's Mike Myers. And we talked to him for a minute. It was nice. Can you just call sir and order pots? I don't believe you can.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Stephen Douglas, when I'm ready to send my 2204 to you, should I ship in the head shell or just send the chassis?
No, send it in the head shell.
Yeah, that way you can hide alcohol in there.
What?
Like Vinny,
no one's ever done that.
Vinny did that.
He in an amp?
Yeah, he sent you an amp and he put a bottle of alcohol in it. He told me
he did. Okay. He might have actually.
That's why I wouldn't have made that up, but
I'm sure he did.
Okay.
I don't remember what the bottle was, but yeah.
I don't remember either, but I remember him telling me that.
I'm sure it's gone.
Mark has no filter. I have a filter. I'm a little open tonight. I feel like talking tonight. It's been a crazy did. And Vinny says I absolutely did.
What was it, Vinny? Refresh my memory.
Yeah, let us know what the bottle was.
I'm sure I drank it.
This is an interesting comment because I'm going to address this. I go back and forth about how to act on this show. Like I can just be a moderator and I could not interject my personal shit or my stories or whatever and just moderate the show and ask questions. Or I can be an integral part of the show and tell my side of things and be part of the show. And personally, I've done both where I just play the moderator person. And then there's other times where I want to be more myself and interject, my stories and things about myself. And quite frankly, I enjoy more of it when I'm interjecting my side of things and how I feel and stuff like that. So
what is this even in reference to?
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not sure.
What did you do? I mean, I don't know. When you're talking about running around the city at shitting, I mean, I don't know. What is this reference to?
That might be.
Maybe.
I don't know. I was just talking, telling stories tonight.
Yeah.
So yeah. Good. Who said, Mark, I prefer you add your personality. Thank you.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just want to address it. I feel like talking tonight. What can I tell you? Was there any other questions? Nope. I think we're good.
Oh, wait, we got one more here. Braxel said, love the Plex faceplate, switches, indicator light, knobs. Is the chassis thicker than the original, as in the original Marshall or something? I mean, the chassis is the same thickness as all our chassis, so that's not any different. The faceplate is the same faceplate material we use on all the amps. The little switches are a little different. It's a PC mount switch, and it's like a really tiny short little toggle switch. I love short toggle switches because they don't tend to break off that way. And the knobs are the same we use on the B Deluxe. Same gold knobs. Just the chassis centered, and everything's a little different as far as that goes. But yeah, I'm glad you like it.
Any thoughts on Ticketmaster Live Nation being sued? I'm all for it.
They're being sued by who?
They're being broken up by the Justice Department.
Oh,
for being a monopoly. And I thought what Merrick Garland, I'm not going to get political, but I thought what was said about artists being held hostage to having to use Ticketmaster to go on tour and have to pay Ticketmaster, and they, it's
a bigger thing than that. Even not only Ticketmaster, but Live Nation owns all the venues.
Right. There you go.
Exactly. It's that's another issue. Good luck finding independent venues, even. So there's a bigger problem now.
Yeah. This to me isn't political. This is,
this
is, it's going to help musicians. Absolutely. If they break it up. So just my opinion. Wait, there was a question from Vinny before we hit. Which cab speaker do you like for the Plex, Dave?
Greenbacks, like Greenback 4x12 probably.
Okay. Kill Joe. I'm starting to feel like a spammer. Sorry, guys. Oh, you're good. Dave, any recommendations for a volume pedal?
What's the application? So, like, if it is, personally, I love a Boss FV500L pedal, full size volume pedal. But 500L means low impedance, so you need a buffered source feeding it. So, if you're putting it in the loop of your amp, let's say that is buffered and that is low impedance, and you should use a pedal like that. If you're putting it on a pedal board and it's after some pedals, as long as it's after some sort of buffered source, it's okay. That's my favorite, just how it feels and everything. Might need a little more information on what you want to use it for exactly, because there is some other choices if you're going to try to do other things.
Okay. Stephen, thanks for the comment. Mark and Dave are the perfect combo. Dave, the scientist and expert, and Mark represents the rest of us.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. And Dory, thanks for the comment. I appreciate that. See, anything else? Lots of nice comments, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think we covered it all. Thank you, everybody, for the questions and checking out the show. Again, check out Sweetwater, fixpedalboards.com.
And Thomann.
And Thomann. Last question from Brandon. Will it hurt my JJ to use it in a not so well grounded house circa 1956 wiring? Haven't had issues with other equipment.
No, it should be fine.
Okay.
It shouldn't be a problem.
Awesome. All right. Well, we don't have another guest scheduled just yet, but we will. And we'll be back in another week or so. And guys, make sure you hit subscribe and have a great weekend.
Yeah, thumbs up, hit subscribe. If you're not, God damn you.
Yes, exactly. Come on. It's about time. Hit subscribe. Thanks, Barry. We appreciate you guys watching the show. Really do. All right. Have a good one, man.
All right, guys. See you later.
Bye-bye.